because it is map time. We're going into the bans right now, and we're going to take a look and see if OXG can get themselves a swift bit of revenge against Tempo Storm for that match back at the beginning of the season, or if Tempo is going to take us all the way to map number 3 once again against OXG here. Let's find out. Ace is going to be our first operator banned out. Not really much of a surprise there. OXG's been banning him out quite a bit, as has been Tempo and quite a few of our other teams. He's a very powerful operator, and more importantly, he's a very fast hard breach. So for a lot of teams, it's better to just not have to deal with him. Thatcher also going to be taken out by Tempo.
Yeah, that's going to hinder the offense quite a bit. Specifically with the Thatcher ban. Ace is one that we're going to be seeing all the time. He's currently the hard breacher with the best gun in the game. Well, for hard breaches, obviously. And arguably rifles, if you want to talk about that. Well, Mai going to come in for the first defensive ban. Can't blame them there. Going to make the clear just a touch easier. And we're going to have one that's a little unorthodox, but we know exactly why. Pulse coming in for the last ban from Auction. That's going to round out our bans here between these two. The Pulse ban. I like this a lot. Hinders Tempo Storm's intel game quite a bit on that defense, and Oxygen really didn't use it too much on their consulate, so I feel like they're going to be set up for this, specifically on sites like this, like Kitchen.
It's not a ban we see all the time, primarily because it's still very possible to do things without him. It's not a hugely debilitating ban a lot of the time, but if you know, as the team banning it, that the opposite team does rely on him quite a bit, obviously that can be a spanner in their works if they're potentially not expecting that ban to come out, which Tempo may have not been expecting it here. So all of a sudden they may be panicking and trying to figure out a way to counteract that. The good news for them is, though, is they've got 6 rounds before they even have to worry about it, as it's going to be OXG starting things out here on the defense. And they're going to go right downstairs, not to the living room, though, where we've been seeing a lot of teams start out on. They're going to go with more of the old standard that we've been seeing come into play over the past few months and go towards the kitchen instead.
This is a very unique setup here from Oxygen. If you guys notice, we actually don't have a Jaeger being brought with Omai banned out. That means all the throwables on Tempo's sides are going to be confirmed. But Oxygen have actually spread out their setup over into the living room area. We've seen a couple of different teams do this inside of the pro scene, but this is going to be the first time I'm seeing Oxygen do it here. This castle being brought as well with the Banshees and the Ella. There's quite a few layers here for Oxygen to build off of. I really like this delay that they're bringing with that Banshee, or excuse me, not with the Banshee, but with the Malusi and Ella combo coming in, and just the Mozzie with a little bit of flavor right on the top of the cake, being able to get rid of some of those drones and use those for more site intel.
Take a look here, see what the opening moves from Tempo are going to be. A little bit of presence up onto the second floor here right off the bat, as we're going to see pretty much the entire Tempo roster -1 trying to work their way in some shape or form here through that master balcony. And the 5th is pretty close by, just over on the Astro window rappel. So everybody working together here on Tempo, not going for any sort of split play, which in my opinion is a very good choice given the way, and more importantly, the potency that we saw from OXG in the early round on the last map. Even though we primarily saw it from the attacking side, it's good for Tempo to not necessarily want to take any risks early on here with any sort of crazy solo play that could turn itself around to go badly.
Yeah, and that's been really the problem for Tempo. It's been these solo picks that Oxygen has been able to get a hold of, and we really haven't seen too much from Tempo sides on these entries. Actually, Creator's the #1 entry in the entire league right now, specifically for that entry stat. 2-0-8 on the very last game, so that's not the kind of success that we're trying to see him have. We need to see him get some more work done here inside of that kill category and try and have an impact throughout these rounds. Oxygen doing a very good job of delaying here. About halfway through now, as they've completely given up the upstairs. Not exactly the worst thing in the world, though, as they do still have some nitro cells and such, but that was actually the last nitro cell burnt there from Vertical. But still keeping up on that man count is obviously a good thing.
Man count's actually going to remain unchanged here after nearly 2 minutes of the round has already been eaten up. Tempo still looking for their opportunity to play, and more importantly, setting up for that opportunity when it shows up later on in the round. You can see all of the soft breach prep that's been done primarily by Mark. A little bit of assistance coming in from a few other players as well. And he, in fact, still even has one more of those charges, which is going to be used at this very moment. Bio is going to get caught. Not fully killed just yet, but he is certainly downed. And there you go. Now confirmed by Mark, as indeed Tempo's slow windup seems to have led to some success, giving them the opening pick of the round. Now needing to transition it, though, and they're going to do just that. Creators gets himself into the duel with Slash on the Ella. comes out on top of it and now opens up potentially a plant opportunity here if Tempo want to risk it by going through the pantry stairs route. Obviously, a lot of defensive setup still to be dealt with for OXG, but Tempo's definitely got a great opener here.
Yeah, Tempo doing a little with a lot right now. That vertical play helping them out a lot with this pantry push, but they still have to worry about the Oxygen members inside of sight. Oxygen spread pretty thin right now. Vert, really the only one that can try and prevent anything is going to be Ash on the Overwatch, but they're on every angle. They're practically in the trees right now, but that's a nice pickup here from Vert. They need to pick up that diffuser and start it once again. Fox A playing on the China stairs, starts torching away at the Ash, then peeks right into it, almost picks up a kill, but gets fried by Jarvis through the China wall. Now Tempo Storm picking up the round after some very, very methodical offensive play.
The planter was alone. Obviously, that could have gone a little bit different, but due to the play from Tempo Storm and choosing to keep everyone together for the most part during that attack, they're able to very easily trade out that Evil Eye, prevent the planter from being down, and of course, after the plan itself, went out the round in the 3v1 that was still rolling at that point. Good attempt to clutch it out, just unfortunately not going to lead into too much, and a promising start to be sure from Tempo after the way the last map went. Very much the same thing we said about OXG at the beginning of map number 1, so time to see how this evolves as we get into future rounds here, as OXG certainly, unfortunately, spreading themselves out a little bit too thin in that round, find themselves getting picked one by one, and just don't have enough capability to defend the site when it comes down to those final 20 seconds of the execute.
I think it was very well played by both sides. I think that the big differentiating factor there for Oxygen is that they weren't able to get the early picks that they're so used to, especially from that last round. Oxygen not able to find any success inside of the kill category, whereas Tempo was, as we were talking about before, very methodical at getting that top control. Oxygen fell off very early as well, really didn't have any contention. We didn't see any gunfights go down or anything. It was strictly Tempo got to Master Balcony, and Vertical thought that, hey, it's probably better for me to be downstairs instead of getting pinched from 3 separate areas. So not a bad call by him, but still not having that early pressure, those early gunfights to really throw off what Tempo Storm was doing, allowed them to really just walk through the entire round with that methodical pace, get control of Pantry, and eventually go for that plant. So overall, really nice play there from Tempo Storm. I would like to see a little extra aggression here from Oxygen just to send Tempo off kilter on that roam game.
Oxygen is going to revert to something that I'm sure most of the audience is going to be a little bit more familiar with seeing, and that's going to be the aviation and game site. Oftentimes what we've seen a large majority of teams go to first up until the recent developments in the meta that happened a few months back. We are going to see a little bit more of that aggression that you were hoping to see as well here, most notably Vert taking a very, very tight angle against one of the bedroom windows here. A drone did go into it, so more than likely he got spotted by that, but I don't necessarily see any pre-aim towards it. Never mind. Raiders definitely primed on that angle. Despite that, though, Vertical is going to try to take a swing just a few pixels off there from a headshot on Creators, and Creators not responding fast enough to do any damage to both players. Just going to end up whipping some shots against each other, and for Vertical, he's going to decide it's best not to stick around here. He'll fall back to his position on red stairs. Laxing, though, going through here, taking out quite a few drones as he also falls back from Trophy down to the first floor.
Well, slowed tempo up for the first half, very similar to what we saw the last time around from Oxygen, but bullets actually sent towards each other this time around as opposed to the last. So looks like Oxygen want to continue to contest as long as they possibly can, as Vert has shifted over to red stairs. Not a bad plan at all. He's got a lot of power here for both of these levels, and they've done quite a bit of damage to the drone economy of Tempo Storm. I mean, look at that thing right now. It's an absolute tatters. Only 4 people having a drone, and oh no, Vert gets caught off guard downstairs as Dream simply walks in, grabs the kill, and walks up. That's about it. They now have control of 90 as well, as Tempo was barreling down onto site.
Fortunate turn of events from Tempo as Crazy is going to disconnect there. That brings it down to a 4 versus 4 here. We're going to have to see the rest of the round be played out here by Tempo. Like I said, issues with their drone economy as well. Only 3 still standing, and they are all deployed out at the moment, which means some of them may already be preset, and they may not want to move them, meaning they have limited capability to gain intel throughout the rest of this round. Oxygen, on the other hand, they know they've got this advantage, and they're definitely going to utilize it. A good swing from Laxing, though. A great opportunity presents itself. He had full vision, more than likely on to mark, so went for the play and made it work. That's going to put Oxygen in control here. For the remaining 40 seconds, it's all up to Tempo to change that pace. Foxy still waiting for some action to work its way over into Study too. He's got pressure potentially coming his way, but away from that, since there is no Study pressure, he's got a great potential to re-swing out here and just punish anybody that tries to push him from top stairs. Bio is managing all of this though, so you won't even really need the support from Foxy by the time everything is said and done. It's all down to Jarvis. A 1v4 situation for him to play against. He's going to try to make it work, but already taking some heat, and Laxing will finish things off. He throws the flamethrower at Jarvis, finishing off the round for OXG and allowing for a trade to come out here, meaning we were going to be tied at 1-1. And as you guys might expect, a quick rehost is going to come in here to allow the Tempo player to reconnect.
I think we might have ourselves a game here, John. This could be some fun. Oxygen looking a lot stronger inside of that second defense, showing an aggressive front, but eventually, that ooey gooey center was there. Very reserved gameplay from Oxygen and working those picks extremely well. Tempo just feeling a little bit too comfortable inside of their positionings there, specifically inside of 90. When that shield is there, there's more than likely going to be someone to contest you, and Laxing playing that situation to a T. So very unfortunate that Tempo ended up getting that first kill and then gets the disconnect, but still 4-on-4 is still a winnable round there for you. You just got to be able to close them out and use that utility towards breaking up those points of contact from the defense, specifically that shield inside of the hallway, really giving them a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the disconnect definitely potentially affecting things there too. Obviously, we're not going to spend too much time talking about that because it's unfortunate, but we do have to move on from that. Tempo Storm at the end of the day there, just not able to bring enough pressure that was needed to get onto the site due to the good angle play that was set up there, like you were just talking about, Stokes, from the members of OXG and their capability to just completely shut down any of the players trying to push their way in from the master side, from that trophy and statuary side. We had very little, if any, pressure coming in from the Tempo roster over by Study side there. So players like Foxy and I believe one other player by the mainsters were just able to sit there throughout the entire round. And when the execute finally started rolling in, well, they knew they were safe. They knew there wasn't anyone else coming from that direction. So they're able to put themselves in even safer positions for any sort of issues that may have popped up. And we never even got to that point. So OXG barely having their defense tested there at the end of the day when it comes to that site. But that's the important thing, is that's a very standard site that a lot of teams are already good at playing their defensive round on. So now we're going to have to see how OXG look to evolve this defensive half beyond that. More than likely, we'll expect them to go over towards trophy and statuary. There is that potential for a living room pick here coming up as well, but judging by the way that the initial kitchen round went, more than likely they're going to want to stray away from that until they have a better idea for the general play style the Tempo will bring to the table on this round, so that they can hopefully craft their roaming presence a little bit better to play those downstairs sites.
I will say there's more than likely something inside of the Oxygen playbook for Kitchen that is just a touch more standard. That is not unorthodox, but it's a very fresh thing that we've been seeing a lot of teams do with Kitchen, extending over to living room and just playing it more horizontally than vertically. And it just didn't really work out for them. It's perfectly fine to go back to, the old ways of, hey, we're just going to play above with a couple of people, bring some reinforcements, and try and play for those gunfights. Inside of that last round, though, you said something that just, you hit the nail on the head right there, John. And what I wanted to talk about was what you were talking about with the main stairs control as well as study control that Oxygen had in order to shut out that last round. Those are some major areas that you have to control when you're going for that execute, specifically when you're going for that master clear over and then you're going to go for the plant on the vault door. The top of the stairs as well as the study is a safe haven for any defender that wants to try and swing towards bus door. So if you don't have control of that, things like what we saw happen with, well, not necessarily Foxy, but almost with Foxy can happen. So that hindrance inside of Tempo's man count going later into that round really dealt a lot of damage that was a little bit more difficult to see than regular.
Yeah, it's certainly the case. And I mean, it's like we were saying, like Foxy was set up in that position. You never even really had to use it, but in the event Bio goes down there, it's more than likely a very easy thing for Foxy to just swing out there, confirm at least one trade, and more than likely, based on the way things were going, try to pick up a few more as well. Looks like things are pretty much ready to resume, folks. We've got all 10 players in the lobby, and the match is now resuming at that 1-1 scoreline. So assuming there's not any major hiccups over the next 5 to 10 seconds here, we're going to be good to resume things and hop right into round number 3. Let's head in game and take a look at the resumation of OXG against Tempo. I don't even know if that's a word, but I just threw it in there. So the resumation, I don't think that's a word, but
we're doing it live. All right,
it's my
trophies.
dictionary.
We're using John's dictionary now? Is that what we're doing?
I decide what words are real.
Trophy statuary going to be the very first room here, or defensive site for the defense as we join things back up. Bio 6 picking off of the Maestro and picking up the Clash. Kind of a weird one here. Not necessarily a terrible thing. Clash, a very influential operator, especially on this site if they do end up going for a master take. She's going to have basically free reign over all of the concrete areas you see next to Laxing. She'll be able to shut down a lot of things going on inside of Master, as well as, you know, adhere the call wherever it is. Rotate around, slow down tempo as much as possible, and I think it's a great plan for Oxygen. Whenever they're able to actually slow down the pacing of Tempo Storm is not able to battle back inside of the round. I really do think it's just Oxygen needs to grab the reins of dictating the pace of the match, and for Tempo Storm, it's winning those initial gunfights. Whenever they have a pick, they do so well.
Setup here for Oxygen is going to look fairly standard here. Obviously, the Clash pick is going to make things relatively interesting, but for the most part, everything will be played in terms of wall reinforcements and whatnot, as you would generally expect. Foxe to try to set himself up for success here with the Electric Claw. Let's look at the triple denial off here. Actually, no, he's going to do the left two there, so leaves the right one available for an opening, but also acts as a bit of a choke point too. So it's not necessarily the greatest thing in the world for Tempo to open that, even though it will potentially be for free if Fox is not going to try to deny it.
Okay, well, Tempo Storm looking for the master take now. They do have the IQ as well on Mark, so they're able to get him in downstairs. He could remove quite a bit of this utility. Actually, inside of the site, quite a bit of this flooring upstairs is actually soft, which means it is susceptible to IQ. It's more than likely why Creators is clearing out down low, as well as potential nitro cells that could possibly happen. We do have the Malusi all the way down the stairs of Laxing. This is exactly the kind of person you want inside of this area. Those rat tactics could end up working out. Electro Claw being seen by Bark now, but they have to be aware of what could possibly happen downstairs. Jarvis setting up some air jabs as well on these staircases. They now know that Laxing's downstairs as well because of that impact coming out. So good intel here for Tempo Stormers. They're getting down to the minute 40 mark.
Jarvis certainly taking some heat, though, from the earlier action. He's going to be brought down to right around 50. As the rest of Tempo, though, no one taking any damage just as of yet, but we do have some pressure starting to build up on that master balcony. I'm sure it won't be the only one, as more are on their way, including one over here on the Astro Window Repel, looking to take out some of the utility that is set up here on the inside. For players, you know, just like what we were looking at there, for players like Slash, who really has a whole arsenal of utility currently sitting there on the Astro stairs to try and assist him if he's going to try and delay that master, most notably the master bathroom push. But Bio's also here too, so Slash has a lot of playmaking capability and more than likely a lot of room to work with due to Bio being here to assist him. I mean, even these two aren't alone either. Vert's also right over there by the rotate point going into sight. So there's a lot that Tempo's going to have to work their way past, and it's kind of a good thing that there isn't a huge emphasis on the master clear right now, as Tempo would more than likely spend most of the round trying to grind that away compared to making any actual progress here. But let's see. There's a lot of pressure downstairs starting to brew closer and closer towards those Astro stairs. Laxing is going to come from the bottom back stairs, in fact, swings out and is able to take down the first player trying to challenge those Astro stairs. Creators is nearby here too. He'll have a good chance for a refrag, but at the moment, not really feeling the pressure to move forward here. So he is going to just take out utility, fall back and get into a different position. And in the meantime, Tempo is going to shuffle the diffuser here for a second. Not going to be much of an issue to get it back though.
Yeah, but big problems now. Only 20 seconds remain, and they need to get this diffuser down, and they really don't have a safe place in order to do so. Can't even get through the wall right now with how the X-Kairos are set up, so it's going to have to be a harsh execute through the doors, and we already have 2 Tempo members down, but Creators coming up big with a nice 2K there, but shotgun's out now for Oxygen. Diffuser down inside of the bathroom, so Creators is going to have to do double duty here, but it doesn't even matter. Slash picks him up with a shotgun, and Oxygen pick up round 3 off of some really, really good effort to slow down Tempo Storm's attack.
Yeah, unfortunately, just not really much success with regards to the opening pushes from Tempo whatsoever. They got some early control to work with, but they were never really able to seemingly do anything with it. There was a valid attempt made to pinch out a lot of that Astro pressure, but again, they never really found their kind of initiating move to try and push towards that, and were eventually kind of just flushed into it at the end of the round because they had no time left, so they had to force their way forward, and it went pretty much as you would expect with all the utility and more importantly the Clash standing in the way there for OXG. It was a very easy time for them to shut down the Tempo push.
Yeah, there was a lot of positives there for Oxygen. I think that the biggest, key to that round was laxing downstairs. They knew that he was there for most of the round after the early impact onto the hash gave him away, obviously, but he was still able to play his life out downstairs and get a pick, and that's the biggest thing. He was guarding the bottom of the Astro stairs for the smoke of Slashug, not like he could do it himself, which he absolutely can with that shotgun, but having laxing there to be able to assist him as well as possibly run up if needed, that's a lot of things going on for OXG. They had almost every single means of travel out of the kitchen area locked down from Tempo Storm. Oxygen only gave Tempo Storm as much as the map as Oxygen wanted them to have, and it was beautiful to watch. I mean, they only had master control as well as the kitchen dining area. If they went for anything else, Oxygen would just simply kill them.
Now with two very successful rounds being played upstairs, this is more of a test here for the Oxygen roster. Stokes noted, of course, that the last time that Oxygen went to this site, they did play a little bit more unorthodox with their setup, and things are going to look, for the looks of things anyway, start to revert back a little bit here now, as they'll feel a little bit more comfortable to try this site again now that they've won both of the upstairs sites in succession. Still will be quite a bit of upstairs roaming presence, though, as they do need to control these very important areas of the map. Tempo realizes this, too, so they are, in fact, going to jump in from the study side and work on a south to north clear instead of going right to master.
Could be a nice change up here, but since Oxygen does have top floor pressure, they could battle and die on this hill for a little while. They always have the fallback of Astro as well, so to see how this plays out. Still have Laxing on the roam, which, as we've seen, he can do as much damage as possible. He's very good in this role, knows exactly when to get on and knows exactly when to back off. So we'll see if Tempo can battle this out a little bit better up against Lax this time. Goes for the Nitro Cell, does a little bit of damage to creators purely off of audio, therefore Laxing some good stuff from him early on, but Nitro Cell just not picking up the kill.
Laxing waiting very patiently here for any opportunity to try and pick off a member of Tempo, but no one's going to take a bite on that. However, Dream will find himself in a skirmish. Doesn't come out too successfully, though, and in the meanwhile, Vertical also gets a pick against Mark. Try to put some pressure over on Astro Window. We'll get a second opportunity here, too. Vert is going to put even more damage on a Dream this time. He's brought down at just over 25. He'll have to survive with right around 30 here for the rest of the round. We'll take out the Banshee on the ground so he can make a more confident swing if he feels the need to once again, but there's a lot more to deal with, and Dream, who seemed to be kind of zeroing in on the correct angle, is not going to be able to get the shot off. And away from that, Foxen only gets the first kill, but he gets a second one as well. Tempo are falling apart on the seams of this attack, and they haven't even gotten to the floor where the site is yet. They're still trying to clear out the roaming presence, and they're already down to just Crazy and Jarvis. Losing one of their charges here is only going to make things worse, as they won't have the capability to isolate out any additional rotates from OXG to try and finish off the remaining two. Crazy gets himself into a battle here that he may have not been expecting, and now he's down low at 25 HP as well. Potentially going to be finished off in a second, but no, he gets the revenge against Laxing, taking him out instead of seeing Crazy go down right there.
The bars giveth and the bars taketh away. Crazy and Jarvis still upstairs. Have 4 that they have to worry about on defense. They do have the diffuser, but Crazy quite low on HP after that battle through the vertical play. Fox A and the rest of OXG waiting patiently on site here, seeing exactly what can possibly happen. Still have Bio over inside of living room, and he has 2 around him. Should have a pretty easy pickup here, and he will. That Roni eating Jarvis to shreds. Crazy now the last one alive as he's peeking around, but it's Foxay actually to get the last kill here onto Crazy. And that's what we were talking about from Oxygen. They have so much talent when it comes to mechanical skill, and to not abuse it up against a team that's trying to be very structured in what they're setting up is blasphemy. Now that Oxygen has got back to the roots, they're starting to take these gunfights or letting Vert get aggressive. It is working so well. I want to see if they can possibly close out this defensive side on a positive note.
And the notes for Tempo are really only going to continue to get worse, unfortunately, as now, after winning out that downstairs site, we're going to start to see some of the upstairs ones begin to unlock for OXG again, which they've already proven they can win those with flying colors. So back to Aviator End Games is going to be the next site they'll play into. We're almost certainly going to have to see Tempo vary up their strategy for this one. Last time attempted to mainly push pressure in from the north side over by Master, and then try to take control from there. But they dealt with possibly like an unexpected amount of pressure towards 90 that they may have not been really expecting to deal with in the form of Laxing playing behind that shield. And things really started to go bad from that point forward, unfortunately, as they tried to funnel everyone in from the red stairs side into the site, but is very quickly shut down by Bio inside. And even if Bio had gone down, we talked about this before as well, Foxy still had full control of Study and a great angle to kill any of the remaining players. There definitely needs to be a bit of a change up in Tempo's attack this time.
Honestly, it seems as though that they're going into these without the maximum amount of intel that they can possibly have on a situation, especially with those upstairs attacks, like funneling in towards benches as well as Boar. I mean, they're more than likely going to win. That they know you're going to be coming from that area. That's usually the default attack, especially with that setup upstairs, and they already have it off of, based off of what defaults you've destroyed or what other intel they have from earlier inside of the round. So you know that they know that you are coming. Oxygen's ready for you. It doesn't seem as though Tempo's ready for Oxygen, though, inside of these positions.
All right, well, let's see exactly what Tempo is going to do. And I mean, pretty much right as we were just talking about here, we immediately have pressure going over towards Study this time. Creators, not that even going to be the only one either. Crazy's also grouping up with him. Slash has more than likely heard this if you've not seen the drone move in, so we'll be very well aware of the pressure that is brewing just outside of that Study door right now. Dream and one other player from Tempo also going to be taking some first floor control away, and that other player's Mark, by the way, is going to be moving his drone up the main stairs now to find out where Slash's position is, and if he can get far enough, maybe catch Bio 2 here, but more than likely, yeah, that's going to get shot out right as he spots Slash, so only getting to spot the smoke under these circumstances. Not going to stop Tempo, though. Tempo very quickly moving in, and we already see a 1-for-1 exchange. Foxy is set up to potentially trade against more of these guys, but Tempo's moving through this quickly. Crazy, having picked up the most recent kill there against Slash, taking out the pressure from top stairs.
Oh, might have a freebie downstairs.
Nice.
Oh, and we will. Foxy with the equalizer onto Dream, and it seems that Tempo's ready for it this time around. His aggressive front knock working out with the same amount of success as it did prior for OXG. Worried about laxing downstairs is Jarvis, and actually it's Foxy. Excuse me. We pull that back for just a second, but still locked inside of this 3v3. Plenty of time left on the board here, and some good utility still in the hands of the defenders to string this round along. Creator's very low on HP as well, and since he's the main gunfighter right now for Tempo Storm, this could slow some things up.
Plenty of time here for Tempo to continue to work their play. However, with just over a minute remaining, the problem is going to be the lack of health on a few of their players. They've got to be very careful with their fight selection here. They end up going just in direct 1v1s. Even if both players play to their best, more than likely Oxygen will still win quite a few of them here due to that low HP. Away from that, though, see a little bit of play potential being lined up there from Bio, trying to pepper off some shots on the players that are still hiding on the inside of Study, but no success found on that. Laxing going to get blinded out here, too, but Foxy still coming in for the assist. He's able to find Jarvis. Crazy gets dropped at the same time from, I believe, the same angle. And now, as they wrap around the corner, they still have yet to even potentially realize that Laxing is playing right here. Seems as though that's not the case, though, as Creator is very much looking out for that swing from the doorway, and is going to catch even a little bit of damage off onto Laxing as his teammate backs up. Creator's trying so hard to get Crazy back into the fight here, trying to put pressure onto players like Laxing to prevent that swing and the confirmation on him, but Laxing gets it off regardless, and is going to follow it up with a second kill as well. Oxygen control round number 5, and are well on their way to a dominant scoreline at halftime.
Laxing playing like an absolute rat there, dealing with that Study situation. Prone next to the door, forcing audio cues through different angles and backing off. There was a lot of stuff there that Laxing was doing to close out that situation. But overall, that wasn't even what stole the show. Oxygen fighting down to a 3 versus 3, then closing out with the sight play is what stole the show. They hindered Tempo Storm just enough, and Tempo Storm fell to pieces. They didn't have the map control, nor the body count, nor the health to be able to contest Oxygen on multiple fronts, and Oxygen, knowing exactly what was written on the wall, walk away with round 5. You're looking into round 6, though. We're going back to trophy statuary. Oxygen seeming to bring a little bit of a slower front here, not nearly as aggressive as we have been seeing, jumping back onto the clash. So again, I think this is that choice to really mess with Tempo Storm more than it is to get kills.
Yeah, no real reason for OXG to change up the strat when it comes to this site. It worked perfectly the last time around here, so unless Tempo is going to bring some dramatic change up to their own personal strategy here, then OXG will more than likely play things the exact same way, with the heavy emphasis on defending Astro, as it seems to be the central execution point for Tempo. Tempo is more than likely going to have to either figure out a way to deal with that, either by, again, not getting caught by the roaming presence early on and just figuring out a way to get to that point in the round faster, or by putting pressure elsewhere, whether it be Master or, of course, by trying to swing in through areas like the connector and top red as well. All up to Tempo, of course. It's up to them to decide how this game moves forward at this point, but Oxygen is very much in control, just like our previous map, and not a good thing for Tempo considering Oxygen already up 1-0 in the series and well on their way to a 2-0. Tempo doesn't change something soon.
Oh, well, Foxy, aggressive early on here. I feel like we've been saying that for quite a long time here with Oxygen, but once again, doing some of that. So Oxygen upstairs over in stat, as we've been talking about. Tempo Storm going to be taking this from south to north with that studied clear here. Drones quite ahead of Tempo Storm, as Mark is more than likely working his way towards the bottom of main stairs. Nice setup overall, operator-wise here for Tempo Storm. Have all of the means to be able to handle what Oxygen is bringing to the table. They are going to have some good utility usage here, though, mainly because of that clash. If they end up trying to burn a little bit too early on, specifically with Dream's utility, then that could leave him off worse for wear. He's really the only one inside of this lineup that has any utility to really make Bio's life any harder.
Flash going to be spotted out here, of course, and a sudden sigh from Tempo as they'll realize they have to deal with that again. So the strategy is going to be, like I said before, already we can see a change up in kind of the game pace here from Tempo, as they are going to prioritize moving in from that study side to take things out from here, hopefully being able to work multiple angles instead of just one and prevent the issue of running into the clash and, of course, having no other options to get around it. So by going this way, it gives them immediately two-pronged approach to this attack if they want it. If they want to send players over towards Astro or in through Master, that just adds more to it, but it also splits them up more, which they've had issues with in this series as well. So it's kind of a delicate balance that Tempo need to find for themselves here. See in a moment, Foxy's going to try to make a play, hops down, goes for the Nitro Cell, seems to have been caught by Dream though. He's going to be able to back away from that well in advance and avoid any of the damage.
Well, the problem is now is the Tempo Storm not exactly set up for the execute going into the last minute here. Man count equal as well, and Bio can slow down quite a few people. Creator's taking quite a bit of damage in his most recent gunfight. Crazy as well, falling into the exact same trap. Tempo Storm once again not being very excuse me, my entire body was falling apart for a second. Mark with the early picks, though, with the G8, able to take down 2 Oxygen members. That's going to be the impact that they need in order to get a plant down here. Slash running low on Toxic Babes as well. Diffuser currently in the hands of Crazy, but hasn't started it up just yet. They've got everything closed down for the most part for rotations, but a nice refrag from Vert to pick up one. Slash working everything from inside of Trophy. He's the last man alive here for Oxygen. No more Toxic Smoke either to assist him. Oh, almost able to take out Jarvis, but Jarvis better inside of the angle, and Tempo Storm finish out their half 2-4. I actually almost cough slash threw up right there, so apologies for that, guys. I don't know exactly what happened. So anyways, getting into the second half, Tempo Storm, again, a very slow offensive front there, John, but it ended up working out for them. I really feel as though Oxygen felt like they were going for the execute right then and there, and they were not. They really leaned on that timer, and Oxygen ended up falling into the trap rather than Tempo.
Yeah, I believe it was Mark actually that got those 2 entries right at the beginning, or the beginning of the engagement, I guess I should say there, that really opened up the only real opportunity that Tempo's had so far in this half. So great job by him, as without those 2 openers, of course, getting into both of those entry points is going to be all that much harder, and OXG was going to be in a great position to try and shut that down once again. So beautifully played there by Tempo. Definitely some signs of life, but still having to work against a 2-round deficit could be a little bit unfriendly here, especially when we've been seeing some pretty solid attacking halves from OXG, not only just in this game, of course, but looking back at their match from week 2 as well. So OXG, if they're able to bring that heat once again, Tempo could still be in trouble here, but hopefully they've brought some good strategies for the table. It's their own map pick here, and definitely the weaker one for Oxygen.
Yeah, even though it is their own map pick, Tempo only 1-1 on it within recent history. That goes back about 3 months. So either not very many people wanting to bring Tempo to this map, which we've heard before, but Oxygen allowing it. So that's why I'm really leaning towards Oxygen right now, because I don't think that they would allow this map back into this pool, especially with their record on it being 0-5.
That's not what your tweet said.
I mean, like, listen, I'm just trying to make Jesse's life a little bit harder. That's all.
All right, folks, let's take a look at the opener here from OXG. Obviously going to be about a minute or so before we see any real action, more than likely, but a lot of drone and intel gathering still to be had, and Creators is going to be the first victim of that, more than likely. I'm assuming that Slash's drone did catch a quick glimpse of him, so they should be aware of the fact that someone is roaming around red stairs. Whether they know it's 3 players or not, though, is still yet to be seen, as a few of those, most notably, I believe Mark and Creators, are going to start to slowly fall back over towards Astro if their support is going to be needed over on the second floor. Away from that, OXG quickly clears out the south side of the map and are now right at the connector entry here if they want to start pressuring the site itself. More than likely, this is not going to be the only prong on their attack, though. We're still at 2 minutes, so Oxygen have plenty of time to try to set up for other routes of attack if that is going to be their game plan.
Yeah, Oxygen still has to worry about the presence down low from Tempo Storm as well, as both of those members have artillery in their pocket. All except for really Jarvis, if you want to argue it, the Nitro Cell not being chosen. He does have the impact, so could always just double impact somebody instead, but still going to work for those vertical plays. Oxygen leaning on the timer to set up for this execute, and it's going pretty well, as you guys have seen. They already have the top of red control, but now they need some pressure inside of Master. Well, at least some holes to be able to watch split, but Mark's going to be preventing those from downstairs.
Mark also priming himself for a Nitro Cell toss here. Bio moving forward. He's got to be careful as the Nitro Cell rolls out. He's trying to get the counter angle here to take out the player below, but he's not really going to be able to find it. And in the process of trying to do that, he loses about 50 of his HP. Definitely not what they wanted to have happen, as they don't get any damage onto the player down below. Mark's doing a fantastic job right now of wasting time and potentially, more importantly, utility away from the OXG roster. Going to continue to waste that away, but OXG will find the first kill. It's not going to be long, though, before it's traded out by both Dream and Creators, who kill Slash and Foxay, putting the OXG roster down to 3, while Tempo remains strong at 4. Not to mention that OXG, well, yes, they've got a lot of control outside the site. They don't have a lot of it in the site yet, but that's going to start to change with Bio's most recent pick, along with the swing from some of the other players to move themselves in. Bio going for a plant, but the Banshee's going to make it very obvious. There is a rotation working its way through Master Bathroom. A good catch from Laxing, but will they catch the Bathroom swing? That's the big question right now, as this is brought down to a 2v2, and the Diffuser goes down. What a play from Jarvis, going right out to take down Bio. Everything falls to Laxing here in the 1vx situation. He's not going to move an inch, though. He's going to sit here, wait for the audio cue to come in, and the first tap of the counter diffuse. Then he'll more than likely make a play. There it is. Here comes the swing from Creators. Laxing wins that one, brings it down to a 1v1. Down to 20 seconds on the counter diffuse timer, and now it's all up to Jarvis.
Oh, very scary situation here for Jarvis. Laxing can't play this from underneath either, because that is concrete. Only 3 seconds remain. He can pop off and try and take the gunfight, but Laxing wins it out instead. They are X just that much better, and OXG walk away from this round with yet another one tied to their belt. After some very, very weird instances there, they almost were not able to get that diffuser down. Oxygen could not withstand the amount of utility and angles being tossed at them from Tempo Storm, but somehow weathered the storm throughout that entire round. Very impressive stuff from them to still play and stick to their guns. Stuck to that objective play. They only had control of Statue. They stuck it, able to get it down, and it ended up working out with them after some great play from Laxing. 5-2 split right now. Tempo Storm cannot keep letting up these rounds.
Laxing once again showing us a master class of a few very crucial elements of gameplay here in Siege. Positioning, timing, as well as just site selection there. Beautiful stuff from him to be able to win out that 1v2 in the post plan and put yet another round on the board from OXG. Only 2 more rounds away now from closing out the series in 2-0 fashion and giving Tempo another disappointing performance for this week. Certainly better than last week. That's a lot to be said there, but Tempo are indeed on the brink of defeat once again. They need to summon a lot here to try and bring it back and give us that third map.
Okay, I think the thing for Tempo Storm is that last week they were completely off. Like, nothing they did worked. I mean, even on Consulate, you guys are rushing up yellow into lobby. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a game plan. That's a, hey, we've kind of given up and we really don't know what to try and do now. This Tempo Storm, not the case. Tempo actually is looking a lot better, folks. The main thing is that Oxygen is just night and day from what they were previously. I mean, the team play, how they're playing in post plants, their utility usage. There's a lot of really good things going on for Oxygen, and this is the Oxygen that we've grown to know and enjoy that we're now seeing once again.
Let's take a look here. Once again, a lot of pressure coming early on from the study side here. In fact, a few players, I believe, already on the balcony. Flash is even going in through the doorway, wasting no time here, at least with Vert and Slash, to try and get some early control for themselves. A little bit more utility to deal with, but we actually don't have... No, we've got a few players still mounted up here and ready to try and stop any attempts to swing in towards study. They still might not be able to stop it, though, just due to how quickly this is happening, especially if players like Creators are going to get scared here from flashbangs and other utility that's coming out from the bottom floor. He's very much still trying to focus on stopping that swing to the inside of study, though. But at the same time, he's got to be very cautious of players from Art Studio trying to take him out of his position, too. He's got the Banshee to support him from downstairs, so a good audio cue if someone does drift too close, which we're going to see now. But the nade, a little bit off course there, is not going to do much to him. And Creators, nice adjustment there. Takes out Bio. An opportunity for a second, and he finds it. On top of that, Jarvis right next to him also kills some of the players trying to move in through study. That drops the diffuser. Laxing and Vert going to try to swing on him, but Creators is just controlling this entire situation right now. Another player from OXG goes down, and now everything's up to Vert.
Well, it's really not, because Vert's dead too. So Tempo Storm, flawless round here inside of round 9, and what a round it was. Very quick execution there from Oxygen, just not able to win the gunfight to support them moving so quickly, and kind of a misplay there from Bio. He cleared the staircases with the frag grenade, but it was a nice setup there for Creators to back up the staircase to stay alive, and he was able to get 2 free kills downstairs strictly because of his positioning. Some very nice stuff there. Obviously, the skill coming through with that aim, and just a little bit too ahead of the game was Bio moving up that staircase by himself, and that really opened things up for Tempo Storm to start forcing back on Oxygen, especially after that second follow-through came through for Creators. So they're going to be headed to Dining Room Kitchen now for the very first time on their defensive half. We'll have to see how well it goes.
More than likely, if this is going to be played the same way we've seen them use it in previous weeks, or actually we're going to be over here. We're going to be over here in the kitchen. I thought we were going to the living room, so...
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. But yeah, when we do get there, more than likely there's going to be a lot of emphasis on trying to stop the attackers from moving in on that double softball that we were just looking at, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. As we're going to be over here in kitchen for this round. Tempo still with a lot of defense going to be set up upstairs. Usually we have that roaming presence established here, and I think this round is going to be no exception to that. OXG will have to work their way past that, as well as more than likely a few players set up either in the living room or in extended positions elsewhere as well before they worry about the site itself. Operator lineup looking very well attuned to attacking against this setup for OXG. We'll see them out of the gates in just a second here. We'll get to see what they bring to the table.
Well, getting my bearings here on what Tempo's performing on defense. A lot of off-site presence right now, but that's mostly due to setup, more than likely, as we see the mute jump back downstairs. This looking more like a kitchen defense now. Are going to have Jarvis on the roam as well. Lots of nitro cell potential here for Tempo Storm down low, and this could actually bag them quite a few early kills onto Oxygen. I don't think we're going to see the same aggressive playstyle here from Oxygen inside of round 9, though. I think that things are going to change up just a little bit. Well, the take will change up just a little bit. They're going to be going from the study side as Laxing pushes down low to make sure that no one can possibly either rotate down or through the red hallway.
So yeah, early checks on the red hull, as you were just saying there, Laxing giving himself some certainty that he's safe. It'll be false certainty, though, as it looks like we do have the Malusi positioned just down below at the bottom of the basement side of red stairs, so Laxing's going to have to be careful of that one. More than likely, the drone getting an opportunity to spot it right there, though. Yeah, indeed being the case, as it'll be shot out while Laxing's still on it. But a second one's going to roll out immediately for Laxing, and he'll replace the one that was just shot. Bio, in the meanwhile, does take upstairs control, or at least starts to, as he moves in towards walk-in. Gives himself a nice little hammer swing onto the closet and opens things up, but still, Tempo will find success as they catch the first kill. Foxe is going to get eliminated. There is more waiting around the corner, though, and that is missed. Raider's going to get taken down here. Vertical, now having a chance for a second, succeeds in finding it. Takes out Mark. A nice double kill from him to put Oxygen back in control of this round.
And that right there is the scariest thing about Vertical's play, is he can do so much with so little. Stuck inside of Boar, able to pick up the 2 players upstairs from Tempo Storm. Oxygen now in a really, really good spot to pick up this round and force this into map and match point. You still have Biologic upstairs, starting with the vertical play on the sledge. Plenty of time to do so as well. Oxygen more than likely looking for another pick. Tempo Storm right now Not too much on-site presence that can possibly stop a diffuser, all except for those nitro cells in the pockets of of Dream as well as Jarvis. You still have good site pressure here as Jarvis is playing over inside of living room, leaving things open to really interpretation on anything. He can possibly rotate anywhere, and his call could possibly go to either side of this site. Dream shifting over inside of tarps now as Jarvis is holding down onto the door. OXG still trying to find some space in order to put this diffuser down, but they've got the map chopped up pretty well here, specifically from Piano, where Jarvis really won't be able to get any pressure how he exactly wants it. He's going to step outside, gets immediately air jabbed, and it's now down to Crazy inside of sight. I don't see this going too well, though, as the pressure is coming from every single angle. Crazy gets the first one, but he can't pick up the second. That's a triple kill for Vert on the round, and round 9 walking away with Oxygen.
Holds on for a moment, but ultimately can't sustain against the raw amount of pressure that's working itself his way from the remaining members of OXG. That's going to put them up on map and match point now. OXG definitely bringing a very strong performance to the table for tonight's matchup. Huge improvements considering the way they started things off back in week number 1. And Tempo, unfortunately, a little bit of the opposite of that. A great start taking down OXG. Kind of ignore week 2. Like I said, that was just a very unfortunate game for them. Some improvements from week 2 back here into this week's game, but seemingly so far not enough to take down OXG on the rematch. But game's not over just yet. Problem for Tempo, though, is they've got to run 3 rounds in a row from this point forward, and that's just to take it to OT, but they still need to win 2 out of 3 after that, and that will trigger our third map. It's up into Trophy and Statuary, where we'll see Tempo make their potential final stand here, and OXG will look to seal the deal to give themselves the 2-0.
Well, we'll see if Tempo Storm can possibly bring this back, but it's all got to start here, though. Operator lineup looking pretty spicy. We're bringing a lot of stalling here for Tempo Storm. Crazy, Jarvis, and Dream all contributing to that in their own ways. We'll have to see how successful that can possibly be, but drone game already working out for Oxygen. Got a lot of pre-places in, nothing eliminated too early here for them, so drone economy looking good as we're setting things up inside of Statuary. Some nitro cells going to be played down low. I'll have to see if Oxygen want to go for that study side clear once again.
All right, folks, just a few more seconds here. OXG is going to be led out onto the table once again. Tempo definitely going to be trying to delay to the greatest capability here, especially with the Legion pick coming in. Very curious to see how that will pan out here for the Tempo roster. Big fan of that. But for OXG, a lot of the same being brought to the table here as well. And Foxy as well with the IQ pick. Nice play, and more than likely going to be countering out a lot of those goo mines from Crazy if he's properly checking his electronic scanner here. So Tempo still will have to play against quite a bit. Mark's going to set himself up for some early aggression against anyone from the OXG roster that's going to try to work their way in on Master Balcony. Unfortunately for him, there is 0 pressure on that balcony at this point in time. As far as I can see, OXG are favoring other points on the map, which is not necessarily happening on the second floor. We've got a lot of guys working their way in through kitchen. Only 1 player up on the 3rd floor, backed by the walk-in and master windows at this point.
That is going to be some really good intel from Mark across the map, though. They now know where the take's coming from Oxygen, as they've already begun clearing out this entire site with Foxy. Lots of things that are electronic inside of the site that he's able to get rid of through that flooring. It's going to be a similar setup to what Oxygen has pulled off on this site as well, as we have Jarvis playing Astro with an ADS, but no shotgun to be able to prevent anyone from swinging super close to him. Have to see if he can possibly live out there. Some shotgun play from Dream up top actually ends up doing some damage to Vertical, as he wasn't exactly ready for a shotgun to create a hole and start sending him hellfire.
Dream certainly trying his best to pepper some shots off, and does get a little bit of damage going, but not the kill he was looking for, more than likely, out of that situation. Good denial coming in on the impact. That does destroy one of the breaches here. Foxy is also going to be able to kill Mark on a potential hop out there, and Foxy follows it up with another one from his actual gun, taking down Jarvis. It's not looking good for Tempo right now. Crazy Craters and Dream have to find some way to swing this back, but they're very quickly losing all control of the map that they have for themselves. Vertical with another one now takes out Creators, and they've already got their sights set on another player here. Dream trying to dodge it, but it's not going to work out. Oxygen seal the deal with a flawless round and take definite control of this matchup in 2-0 fashion, taking down Tempo Storm and winning today, putting them forward further into the league.
Okay, so do you want the fun stat, or do you want the not so fun stat?
Let's hear the not so fun stat. I like anti fun.